I don't want to get into the specifics of the case here. You know that'll be with when I meet up with Holman. But just can you tell us about Libby? You know what was she like? What sort of kid was she? What was it like? What's it like growing up here?
Well, she loved it. She's way more tomboy. It's funny. She's tomboy, but very girly in some aspects. She loved it here. The swimming pool
Yeah.
was her.
Trampoline.
She was in that pool all summer. The trampoline. We haven't brought ourselves to get rid of it yet because she was bored. She'd come out and jump. There were many times her friends would come over and they camped out on the trampoline, but they would end up in the house before the night was over.
There's always that friend who everybody kind of congregates at their house. Is that this house? Is it like her friends? Everybody would end up here.
We would have them several times. We'd have
a
house full of
Yeah.
screaming girls, and one night they wanted to camp out there, and then they ended up moving into the pool shed because it started to rain and storm. We had a blast. There's a story about the trampoline that just to tell you how Libby thinks. She'd asked for one years ago for Christmas, and we said, no, we're not going to spend that kind of money. That's, I don't know what it was, $400 or $500. And
for something that would just sit there.
Yeah.
So she pulled all the other grandkids together and said, hey, if we all go in together, we can get this.
So Grandma and Grandpa would
That's
just
what they
want one
did.
present.
They want one present. Everybody wanted it. So
That's smart.
yeah.
So she's got her sister Kelsey. Any other brothers and sisters?
She does have, but not that live here.
Okay.
Kelsey and Libby lived here.
Okay.
They have another half sister that lives here in Delphi also, and then she has two other half sisters that live in Kentucky.
And so she grew up here after age 3 or so. Now, can you kind of tell me what was going on in February of 2017? What was her life like at that time?
Busy.
Yeah.
Just started swimming. The swimming had started. She just come off of, I don't remember what's
Volleyball had finished. They were practicing. They were doing conditioning for swimming. They had that weekend signed up for softball.
Yeah, softball sign-ups were out, so they were both signed up.
They were...
Would they have played on the same team?
Yes.
Okay.
Abby and Libby, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and they were in band together.
So they were pretty close friends.
Mm-hmm. Very. They played volleyball together.
Abby, one of the friends that would sleep out on the trampoline. Now, February. Now, it took me about 4.5 hours to get here. I'm from Akron, Ohio. In February, usually that's like the coldest time of the year. We get snow, and sometimes there's snowbank. What's winter? What's February like in Delphi, Indiana? Do you have snow? Is it cold?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it typically is. I mean, it was a very odd day for February. There was actually a couple weeks there where it was up into the 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
Uncanny for this,
Yeah.
But it is Indiana. It can change. We can get 2 feet of snow coming down off of Lake Michigan. You know what I mean? Blowing down across here, or we get a big heat front, heat wave coming up from the south, which is what happened then, because it was probably up into the 60s.
It was
Unfortunately,
about 60 that day. Now, Friday, Libby went with me on inspections. I do appraisals, and they didn't have school Friday either. Friday and Monday were snow makeup days. Typically, they would have been in school, but since we didn't have a bad winter,
Oh wow.
they got those days out. And so Libby went with me on Friday,
How
and we
far in
froze our
advance?
butt off.
I'm sorry to cut you off there. How far in advance did they know that they would have those days off?
Probably quite a bit.
Probably couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, I guess, because typically by February, I guess the school, whatever must decide. Okay, we're kind of out of the.
Yeah.
For us, January is probably one of our colder months.
Okay.
And then we start getting into February, you start seeing little breaks and.
So they have a couple free days. This is a very long weekend. Libby goes with you on Friday. You're looking around at homes. Is there snow on the ground at all, or is all
You
the
know
snow
what?
melted?
At this point, I
Sure.
don't remember. I can go back and look at the pictures we took that day. But I do remember this much. It was freezing.
That day?
Yes. And because we had our coats on and it was like we were standing there, hurry up, hurry up. So I remember both of us being so cold and let's get in out of there. So I know it was freezing that day.
Was it a normal routine? Is this something that they had done before where they get dropped off and they go on this trail and go for a little hike? How common was
The
that?
kids, actually, Kelsey and Libby would go, but they hadn't this year because it was February.
Yeah.
So they hadn't since the prior fall.
Yeah.
And so just because it was nice and they hadn't been there, and there were several other kids out there that day.
Really?
For them, yes, there were several people out there. It was a nice day,
Just
and that's
going for a
what our
walk.
community does, because we have all these trails. You go for a walk. It's pretty.
And this drop off, is it on the same road here?
No,
It's not on this
it's
road?
2 roads over.
Okay. So she was going to go for a walk and then somebody would pick her up. So Kelsey dropped her off, and the plan was that they would get picked up later.
Dad was out doing some errands for me.
This
He
is
was taking
Libby's dad? Okay.
He was taking some pictures. He was already gone when she come out and said, "Hey, can we go to?" Because Abby had spent the night here,
Yeah.
and they were doing some work for me out in the office. And Kelsey came out and said, "Hey, I'm going to so and so's house," because she had to work at 4, and then I'm going on to work. Well, Libby, of course, she was working. That's no fun. So she jumped up and said, "Hey, can Kelsey drop us off at the trails?" And I said, "Well, you got to have a ride home. I don't have time to go pick you up in a little bit." And so she said, "Well, I'll just call Dad." Well, he was out taking pictures. And so what she did, she called him and he told her that he would pick her up when he was done. So in an hour to 2 hours. He didn't know exactly,
Sure.
but we knew it wasn't going to be more than an hour to 2 hours.
Is he a photographer? Is that like what
No,
you say he's
no,
taking pictures?
No, we just have to take pictures of the houses we use
For,
for appraisals.
oh, right, sure. Right. And, okay, so she's got to ride back. And then, so when did her father realize something was wrong, or when did we realize that?
He called him. He was on his way to pick her up.
Yeah.
And he called her to tell her, wherever you are, start to the trailhead. So
Yeah.
I'm going to be there in a couple of minutes. His first phone call to her was at 3:11. And it went to voicemail. So he got there to the trailhead and he called her again to say, "Hey, I'm here." And she didn't answer, so he got out and was walking around. And he didn't see her. He actually passed the guy and said, "Hey, did you see a couple of girls?" And he said, "No, but there's a couple under the bridge." So he started, because the guy was coming from the bridge, since he said there was nobody there, he went down the hill to look and see if maybe they were down. And but he didn't see anybody, so he called me about 3:30 and said, "Libby's not answering her phone. I don't see her." So that's when I started calling, and my daughter works with me, and she started calling, and we started texting and messaging, and about 4 o'clock we knew that's not like Libby not to answer her phone. So we're thinking, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
At that point in time, it wasn't anything. We weren't thinking something serious at this time. And so I called Mike and said, "Hey, Libby's not answering her phone. They're at the trails. We're going to head over there and start looking." And he said, "I'll meet you there." So my daughter went on over. Derek's there. My daughter went on over, and her partner, she called her, and she met her there. Ended up calling Kelsey at work, and she came back and started.
She left work.
She left work.
Where was she working at the time?
Dairy
Okay.
just right in town.
Yeah.
So now, as I started out to leave, my other son come pulling up, and he says, "What are you doing?" And so I told him what was going on. So he hopped in the car with me, and we thought, okay, if they were to walk home, there's 2 ways they could have come. So we got in the car and we drove both ways, looking to see if maybe they had decided to walk home. Something had happened. She lost her phone or something. We didn't see her, so we got there a little later than the others. And while we were all looking, I was on the phone with AT&T trying to get them to trace her phone.
That's smart.
Well, I don't know what their policies are. They couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
They said, well, you can download an app. I said, well, if I had a phone, I wouldn't need you,
right.
you know? So I was on the phone with them for probably in half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Just trying to do different things that they tried and send me from one person to another. And he was walking around and he come up to me, and by this time it was about 5:15, somewhere in there, and I said, it's going to be dark pretty soon.
Yeah.
We need to call the police. And at that time he went to call the police, and I left because I couldn't get a hold of Anna. I tried calling Anna and I couldn't get a hold of her, so I decided I was going to go to her house.
Yeah.
So I don't know the first part of the police being involved because I went to Anna's house and she wasn't there. I left a message for her and they said she was at work, so I started to where she works. And on the way there, she did call me, and I said, I told her what was going on and that we were supposed to meet at the police station. So her and I went to the police station. So I spent most of the night at the police station, or I think because they got all of their electronics and stuff like that. See, I don't even remember who went and got everything. I don't. A lot of that's a blur.
Sure. You mean they're getting their electronics to see iPads to see if maybe there was some message on there. Looking back on it, does her father's name is Derek?
Mm-hmm.
Does Derek think that the guy that he passed might have?
He was a bold guy.